Welcome to another episode of the Popko Project Podcast. And today I am joined by singer-songwriter Chris Greiner. What's up, man?
How's it going? What's up? What's up?
We're finally doing it. We just tried to do this for
Another
like
day. How
2
are
months
you?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
So, Chris, you are currently residing in Northeast Philly,
Yeah, just outside in Bucks County,
Bucks
PA.
County, PA.
It's a nice little area.
Isn't there a wrestler from Bucks
Northeast
County?
Philly is probably
Oh,
I
what's
don't
his
know.
name? What's his name?
Whenever I say Bucks County, people are like, I have no idea what that is, and I said Northeast Philly, just outside, and they're like, oh, okay, I know where Philly is. Can pinpoint it. Perfect.
I'm trying to think. What was his name? Gosh, I forget. Not important. I could be wrong too. So, but yeah, thanks for doing this. We've been trying for a little while now. Funny, it was how we kind of connected. I got a follow from you on Instagram, and whenever I get a follow from a musician, I always make sure I'm like, oh, what's this all about? And I went to your Spotify page and I hit play. I think the first song was the one that I fell in love with uh, first, and I've never looked back. And that is "All Will Be Well."
Yes.
And then I went to message you because I was like, I want to talk to this guy, and I already had a message from you saying, "Hey, love what you do. Would love to connect." And here we are. But
We made it.
yeah, dude, that song, "All Will Be Well." If anyone's listening to this or watching it, just stop right now. Go stream that song. You've got a handful of songs out there, but my favorite is "All Will Be Well" for
Mm.
sure. I don't know what it
I,
is about it, but that's the one. That is the one.
mm. That means a lot. It, that song kind of came in a season of I wasn't really sure like what my next song that I was going to write was going to be about. And I was also going through like a harder season within my music career and with life. And there's an old church hymn, "It Is Well," and I was like, I just kept telling myself, "It is well, it is well." And my manager was like, "Well, you got to write a song like that." And I was like, "Well, there already is a song like that. It is well." The same thing that I've been saying, this whole time. And then I was like, but you know, all things will be well in the end. And he's like, "All will be well." I was like, "All will be well." And then I got to writing about where I was at during that time, and that song came to be.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I was listening to your music tonight on the way home from work, just to kind of get ready for this, and I listened to all of it, and I'm like, this is the one. This is just still
Mhm.
the. It's all good. It's all really really well done. Talk to me a little bit about your music and your style and kind of your vibe.
Yeah, so we have developed this brand, I would say genre, and we label ourselves as revival rock. So we have that southern rock country sound that is prevalent in a lot of my songs, as well as this folky big tent gospel root note to our sound that we have. There's always that back burner piece in every song that's a little bit folky. Sometimes there's a little bit of gospel, those big organs um, that bright sound that can come out of it, as well as the lyrics that we're writing. We're a country band, but we're not focused on writing songs about truck and women and beer and stuff like that. We really want to take what we've been through as a band, and I'm the writer of my project. What I've been through in my life, what I'm going through, and just talk about real things. And I feel that revival rock kind of sums everything up into two words that we're about.
Yeah, you mentioned storytelling and faith and honesty are kind of central themes for your music. Um, is that an important part of your life?
Yeah, for sure. I go to church, and God is a really big, important piece of my life, and honestly, it's what keeps me going. There's days that I don't see what's next in this whole mess of the music industry and my music career so far. But if I look back on where I started to where I am now, I mean, I can see God's hand in all of it. And the opportunities that are coming in the future. I mean, we always say like it's not by our own strength. Everything that we have, He has provided for us, and we're tremendously grateful for to have God in our lives. And
Has he always been a big part of your life?
yeah, I went to church. I'd say starting in third grade, and you have those like I got saved in fifth grade at a VBS, and that's kind of how my story goes. I was at a vacation Bible school, and I got quote unquote saved. But during COVID, I'd say locked in on my faith, and put it, it wasn't on the back burner anymore. I was still young, but I kind of found God to be my own rather than like going to church with my parents or friends. Like it wasn't some like book that I was reading and hanging out with friends at church anymore. It was like a real relationship that I had with the Lord.
The reason I ask is I grew up in the church. My son goes to a Catholic school, um, and I feel like over the last, I guess, 20 years, I've kind of had this like weird relationship with God. Um, and I think it all happened when I lost some very important people in my life within like an eight month span. And I've always recently at least, I've been thinking about welcoming him back into my life, and I still struggle with it to a degree.
It's it's I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they asked me the question, why is God so good, but I am so not, and what I'm going through right now is so hard. Um, and you have the simple answer as sin. Sin is in the world. There's bad in the world, and it's more evident than ever as years go go on, and you see it fold. But I feel like there's just this power that you feel when you read scripture, and you genuinely just like you pray and you let your heart just like fully immerse into like there is a God out there. There's somebody else out there fighting for me that's stronger than my force, that's stronger than any force. And I feel like that feeling is just one of a kind, and you can't get that from anything else. And that comfort that it can bring as well is powerful. And there's no really answer for why things happen. Why bad things happen to good people.
Mhm.
I wrote a song about that. It's out right now. It's called Why. And that song was my attempt at answering that question. And I don't know. But I know that God is good, and I know that He's faithful, and He'll stay steady through it all.
There's been times over the last 20 years that um, things have happened, or maybe they didn't happen to me, and I was like, wow, I think there was an angel with me,
Mm,
you know. So yeah, it's been a weird relationship with him. Um, but yeah, it's a powerful thing, and I know that.
mm. I, there's some times where I just, after a show, after a long night, I just don't know. I mean, I find myself after some of the big shows that I have, and I'm like, what am I doing? The show went so well, and I'm blessed to be where I'm at, but like, I'm just like, is this gonna be Like it was a lot for that success. There was a lot of worry. There's a lot of like that grind and that nose on the grind zone. A lot of stress and anxiety that came with it. It's like, is this gonna be my life? Is this gonna be like a roller coaster where it's gonna be a straight down drop for a little bit? And I always find myself going back to scripture and going into prayer, and that comfort is huge. I mean, especially when I'm writing. If there's any sort of writer's block, I just like sit down and pray. And it's not that I'm necessarily always writing, Christian songs. I just have this like comfort. It's like God's kind of like, dude, it's not about you. It's about me and what I'm doing for you. And you know, he has his hand on my life and on my career, and it's evident.
Yeah.
But staying staying true to that is, the biggest thing that's, gets me through long days because everybody has them,
Hmm.
whether you're at work, kids at school. But I mean, the industry is tough. There's always somebody that wants to be better than you, and obviously there's pride, and you always want to be better than somebody else. And sitting down and just having a conversation with God and being humbled to the absolute max is it's powerful, and it's what's needed.
Yeah. I knew we'd talk about faith at some point. I didn't think we'd get into it this early and that deep, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. As far as music goes, when did that kind of enter your life?
So I I had a stepdad that I grew up with, and he taught me how to play the drums very early on. I'd say in kindergarten, first grade, around that area, I started learning the drums, and I just kept playing. He'd show me things here and there. It was very like I wasn't taking lessons or anything. It was just like jamming out, him showing to me some things. He was a professional musician at the time. He played in a bunch of cover bands. It was good. I loved it. I was young. I was a kid. And then I got into middle school, elementary school, and I joined the band. I played the drums and band. It just made sense. I was already playing the drums. And then a couple years before high school, I picked up piano. I wasn't good at it, but I just, you know, I found joy in this other instrument that I already found joy in music. I just was like, here's the piano. Let's see if I can teach myself. And I was playing and playing, and then 2020 hit during COVID. Um, I was like, I kind of want to make music. So I did a little bit of like electronic producing with like beats and piano stuff because I kind of already knew how to play the piano, barely. I played the drums, so I kind of was like, I'm gonna form them together, what I know, and create beats. And I decided I was gonna do rap music. Not good. I cannot rap to save my life. It was horrible. Shortly after that, about 2021, I taught myself how to play guitar, and I figured out that I could sing. And that's where my journey kind of took off from there into what I'm doing now. And it's crazy. I never thought I'd ever doing it, but my like side gig per se, something to keep me busy during the day is I'm teaching music now. I'm teaching drums, piano, songwriting, and music theory, and vocal at a guitar center by me. So
So
full
this
circle.
is fairly new.
Yeah, guitar and singing are super new. Even piano is pretty new. I did some music theory in high school, and that kind of escalated my piano playing abilities because music theory, everything that music theory is like roped around the piano. The piano is like theory, and that like, totally skyrocketed my ability to play from where I was. So, but yeah, everything is music's been pretty new besides the drums, but this whole journey has been very new.
I mean, I would never have thought from the music that I've heard from you that this is, within the last 5, 6 years.
Mm. I I feel so much longer sometimes, and it feels longer at times, but it also feels like it was just yesterday. I was sitting down, struggling to play chords from YouTube on my blue guitar that I, had bought from we got it at an Amish market in Lancaster. I was like, this is gonna be my guitar. It was like $60. I played it. I still have it. Um, and here we are.
That's crazy, dude. And you've done some pretty significant things over the last handful of years. I mean, you've opened for artists like Drake Bell, Jimmy Allen, Reverend Horton Heat, Creed Fisher. I mean, how did those things kind of come into play, and what did you learn from those?
Yeah, so I'd say 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, I played my first show ever. It was a little cabaret show at a distillery by me. One of my music buddies was putting it on. I had met him, and now we're best friends. I'm actually dating his niece. It's kind of crazy, but full circle.
Yeah.
But he put me on stage for the first time, and I fell in love with it. And from that day forward, I wanted to do it every second of every day, is being on stage and play. And about I'd say a little over a year ago, I graduated high school and I went to go to college. I was going for a Christian studies major. It was a private Christian school in Langhorne, PA, and the Christian studies was their gen ed degree. I was going there. I was on scholarship to do a worship band. I was going to be a drummer, a traveling worship band. It was awesome. It was a great year, but it was a great year. I don't see myself being in college any longer than that year. And I dropped out and I committed to do music full time. And it was probably a year ago. I just totally locked in. Everything that I did, every word that I spoke was just towards this goal of being a full-time music star per se. Everybody sees Taylor Swift and they're like, I want to be that. And that's kind of what I had. I was like, I want to be on stages playing. That summer, um, shows just seemed to take off out of the blue. And I had gotten a call one day from a promoter in the Northeast of Pennsylvania, and he said, "Hey, I have the show. Reverend Horton Heat's coming to town. I would love for you to open for him. Sell some tickets." Awesome. It's my first ticketed show ever. I was stoked. I was scared out of my mind. I had a band at the time that I met in college, and most of them are still in my band now, which is amazing. And we did it. We played. But the night before, I had completely lost my voice. I played the show, barely able to speak. We just kind of played music for a half an hour. I sung a little bit like Johnny Cash when I could, because that's all the voice that I had. And I'd say there was just a tank down in my morale. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. I can't, like, I'm sick. I can't even play a huge show. But I mean, God is good. That's all I have to say. And that show, even though it was horrible in my eyes, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity just started to spring up like a well. Drake Bell, Jimmy Allen. I'm opening for Drake Bell in just a couple of weeks, again. And I mean, it's good that we started with it. It's like, that's why I always say that I see God's hand in my life, because even at some of my lowest points, in my music journey, when I had no idea what I was doing, scared out of my mind, God was like, nope, here we go, you're gonna do this. And we did it together. And here we are. CMAs in November was amazing. And we're gearing up for the CMAs at the end of this year again. So
Are you up for any awards?
I am not, but I don't know if I can actually say this,
Well, then don't, 'cause
but
I don't edit this.
yeah, um, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Possibly something soon.
We'll say it off air.
Yeah.
Well, that's that's all great stuff. So if I'm doing math correctly and the way your timeline is kind of being told, Are you even 21 yet?
Nope.
No.
I turned 21 in October.
So yeah, I was
So
gonna put you at 20. Okay.
yeah, I have a good little chunk until I'm there.
Wow. Young man.
Yeah,
Wow.
too young. I don't get young though. You're like all the it's crazy. The moms are like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Like, what are you so young? You're like 30." I'm like, "Oh man."
If you only knew.
Uh, yeah, sure. No. But
Well, that's great. And then you just released your debut EP is out now.
it is numb to the
Um
marrow.
Numb to the Marrow. Yeah. I remember talking to you after I told you which song I was absolutely loved. You're like, "Oh, wait till you hear this song and this song." And I'm sorry, I've listened to those songs and they're great songs. But I'm like, they just don't. It's not it.
All will be well is good. It's hard to perform live, I gotta say, because it's a deep emotional song. So that's part's really hard to perform. But also like it's got this melody that is just hard to pull off live. And like I don't do any of that like autotune or anything like that. But you're in the studio and you get a couple of takes. On live, it's just, you're live.
Mhm.
You have one shot. And that song is hard to perform live, but it's good. Ah, I love playing it with my guys. My guitarist, Sam Dobek. He writes some amazing guitar parts, and he just carries. I just let him go.
We'll talk about the EP. The title is "Numb to the Marrow." Is there a significance behind the title of that EP?
Yeah, so the first song on the EP is "Numb to the Marrow," and I'm gonna be honest, it is a breakup song from my last ex. Was not happy that I wrote the song about her, but it makes sense. I was pretty honest.
You
But
are Taylor Swift. You are Taylor Swift. It's yeah.
yeah, kind of got those on there. But yeah, not happy that I wrote the song, but it goes back to that like honest storytelling. Like if I'm going through it, I'm writing about it. And 9 times out of 10 it's coming out in a song. And that was a project that I wanted to focus on that. I've said, this is who I am as an artist. I'm going to put a project roped around everything. So, Numb to the Marrow, first song on the track, this setting the scene for who I am with a new song that nobody's heard. And there's a couple other, there's What a Man's Gotta Do with Michael Schaefer. Great kid, 15-year-old musician, amazing, great voice. But that was another song that I had written similar to Numb to the Marrow. So, similar season. She thinks that song was also about her. I think she was just trying to like stir the pot. I was like, I promise, like I don't care about you that much. No, I'm just kidding. But and then you have Until Then to wrap up the EP, which is a song that I had released prior to that EP dropping. And then I removed it and released it under Chris Greiner. I went from just Chris to Chris Greiner. That's a whole thing recently with that EP. And that song is about what's next. It's kind of like you can imagine Buddy sitting on a couch in the middle of the woods. Why is there a couch in the middle of the woods? I don't know, but there is. There's a fire, there's a guitar, stars, the birds are, getting ready to go to bed. You can hear them tweeting a little bit. The crickets are chirping. And you're just, talking about life. And you're like, things are okay right now. They're not amazing, they're okay. But one day they'll be okay. So until then, and you have All Will Be Well in there. And my personal favorite, Northeast Native, which is kind of, I'd say, my testimony song. It talks about pain, hurt, worthlessness. It talks about addiction. It talks like everything that like I've ever experienced is like in that song. And that line in the first chorus is, I'm a Northeast native, Jesus praying, messed up American kid. I am far from perfect, feeling worthless, but I stick to what I know best, and that's God. And He's got me through everything I just talked about. Um, And like I said, that EP was just a time to be honest and vulnerable about who I am as an artist. And that was my first project as Chris Greiner. And, like I said, setting the stage for what's to come.
Right. Would you say that Northeast Native is kind of your most personal song out of the bunch?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't write it all in one shot, which is kind of like a shocker. I feel like artists will write a super like heartfelt song. They're like, I wrote that in 10 minutes on my couch, bawling my eyes out. And I had written that chorus during a time when things started to look up. And that was that summer that we talked about. I had the opportunity to play a Zach Bryan pre-show tailgate at Lincoln Financial Field, just outside. Gina Russo, amazing. She was there. That's when we met.
Hmm. We'll
And
get into her too.
oh yeah, you can't not. But and I wrote that song around that time, and I played that chorus at that tailgate. And I didn't know the direction that I wanted to go with that song. I knew the chorus, and then the words just followed after that, and just in a little self-reflective state that I had, I was like, wow, things are going pretty good right now, but they weren't before this. So I'm gonna write about it, release a song, and then it came out, and it came out on that EP.
Nice. What do you hope listeners kind of feel after spending some time with this EP and your music in general?
Yeah, so I'd say I'd take two sides of it. Um, the first side was that is that you're not alone. That even if you don't believe that there's a God, that there is somebody out there fighting for you and rooting for you, even if it doesn't feel like it. Whether it's a parent, it's a friend, it's a cousin, it's a long lost relative that you don't even know about, but they know you. There's somebody out there that's for you, that's fighting for you. That whatever aspiration or whatever um, be as ambitious as you want to be. Chase your dreams because there is somebody out there chasing the dreams for you. Say like, just go all in for it because there's always going to be somebody in your corner, even when it doesn't look like it. And the second piece of that is like, music does not have to be this overproduced piece. And not every song has to be a hit song. I'm not writing music for it to be number one on country radio tomorrow. I'm writing songs because I love it, and that's what I want to do. And these songs are, sometimes they're catchy, sometimes they have to be catchy, sometimes they're not. But, it isn't always the goal. As when I sit down and write, I try to write for myself because at the end of the day, if I get 20 streams on a song and I was trying to write a hit song, it's going to suck. If I'm writing a song for me,
Yeah.
20 streams mean absolutely nothing because I just put my time and dedication into the song and I produced it, recorded it, wrote it, and put it out into the world because I'm passionate about it.
Hmm. Well, I think people are kind of hungry for, this honest storytelling type of music, especially in a world where I feel like everything is overproduced.
Mm,
Now we're competing with AI
mm.
music, which is a whole different, uh, that's a different, different
Yeah.
discussion for a different day. And I get frustrated because I'll hear stuff now and it's like, is this even a real person? You don't even know sometimes anymore. So it's good to be able to like talk to
Yeah.
someone whose music I've heard and it's real.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
got one thing about AI. AI album covers and AI flyers are not in. They never were in. Take them away. Like, be creative.
dude,
That's just my, that's all I see. I'm like, guys, it's not hard to download Canva. It's free.
yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, I have no artistic talent. I have Canva. I um very basic with it.
Hmm.
So I understand where people kind of
Yeah.
gravitate towards this tool, this AI tool. But I feel like everything looks the same right now. I mean, you see all these businesses doing these flyers, and it's all the same.
Hmm.
And I hate AI, like the art,
Hmm.
and but equally or maybe more, I hate the word slop. I've become
Mm.
like, that's what everyone refers to AI slop. Like everyone says the word slop. I'm over that too.
Mm.
Uh,
That's good.
but yeah, I mean, it's so. I mean, I think in a world of you know overproduction and just all this like fake stuff, it's nice to hear honesty and real life situations. And I imagine all your music is pretty much like that. It's kind of something you've been through and you've experienced or think about.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. And there's one song that immediately comes to mind. It's released, it's called Things I Didn't Say. It's written with an artist, Lane Simpkins. He's in the credits. He's one of my buddies. I met him. It's crazy. I was going to see a for King and Country concert at the Man in Philadelphia. They're a Christian band, and he was one of the openers. At that time, I was starting to tap into the music industry. I DM'd him on Instagram and just like shot in the dark. Hey man, see you're a local artist and you're opening for this guy. Would love to connect at your show. And we did. We talked. It was awesome. We actually got yelled at because they were trying to do a Q&A with Freaking Country and we're like chatting in the back at his merch table. But anyway, we've been friends ever since. And I went down to Nashville and visited him there. And we wrote this song together. And before we sat down to write it, we said, what do we want the song to be about? Um, and he kind of had this idea. It was like, there's things that Christians can't say. And sometimes those things are like, I'm angry at God. And like you have, these Christians like, oh, you can't be angry at God. You can't be angry at God. You can't say that you are displeased with how God dealt with this situation. But, we're human, and that's like the human nature that we have. And if nobody's going to talk about it, then nobody's going to, we're all going to be stuck in this world. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's good to be angry at God because, he's powerful and he is so merciful and so gracious. However, sometimes there's things you can't say. There's sometimes things you didn't say. And that's what the song's about. And the first line of the chorus is, "Why'd you leave me feeling lost?" And that's a prayer that so many people have when they're even battling if they even believe in God. And that's what we talked about in coming with that song. And yeah.
So Nashville, you've been to Nashville to record.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to record at Prime Recording. There's this really cool artist down in Virginia. His name is George Tyner, young kid, amazing. He's on River Waves lineup as well. Goes with Gina, great kid. I had the opportunity to write with his son, and write for George. His dad's name's Joe, and his dad was like, "Hey man, like, I'm willing to pay for a recording session for you in Nashville at this Prime Recording." The producer, Derek Garten, he's recorded so many of the vocals for Taylor Swift. He's done stuff with Willie Nelson, Chris Stapleton, so many artists that are, on the radio right now that you hear. And it was a huge blessing. But during that trip, I had the opportunity to go over Lane's house and write this song with him. And it was a rough time in my life as well. It was so good being able down there and recording this song. And then in the middle of that trip, I was visiting I guess you would say a college down there, and things didn't go good at all. So I was kind of at the height of everything, and then just like a snap of a finger, we're back down on the ground. Like, man, what is going on? I'm in Nashville right now. It's supposed to be amazing. I just recorded this great song, and then I scheduled this recording session with this writing session with Lane. We recorded a demo that night as well of that song, and I still have it on my phone. And I don't think anybody's gonna ever hear it, but it was powerful. I can't not listen to it without bawling my eyes out. But yeah, mm,
So,
little tangent on the Nashville journey,
well,
but
no, but like,
yeah,
it's a great moment in a young career. Like
yeah.
all these things have just been like lining up, and like
Mm,
it's awesome. It's great.
mm. Blessed.
And you've gotten some radio play,
Yeah.
some stations, probably much bigger than the one that I'm on that I featured your music on. Um, so when you're getting exposure that way, what is that like for you?
It's honestly, it's amazing and it's rewarding to see that, not just my mom's listening to my music. There's real people out there that want to hear it, and there's radio stations that take notice to it. And my most recent one, which I'd say has been I feel, best so far, was I was on Sirius XM, had an interview with Charles Gracie, and it was a trucking like show on Sirius XM. But they played my music during that time, and we had a really good talk. And that that interview was just whoa. And even though it wasn't an interview, the music was played on that air. And they have millions of listeners at Sirius XM. And I just after side note, my MacBook was dead, so I did the whole thing on my phone, and my phone was also dying. So like in the middle of the interview, I like shifted over to like a plug on a wall, and I was like sitting like holding my phone. It's the craziest thing. But anyway, it was things like this happen, and I like you could cry every time. It's like a mom that has like a son that's like, oh, he's doing like a middle school band concert. I can cry. It's so sweet, and that's like what I feel every time. I'm like, oh, somebody added my song to their playlist. That's amazing. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So that radio
Yeah.
play is, whew, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I work in radio, so obviously, like, I'm a big advocate for radio. I still think it's still a powerful medium. Um, but it's up against, the Spotify's and the Sirius XMs of the world and stuff like that. But it's cool to hear that, a 20-year-old is still happy his music's on the radio,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, from two views, it's like one, it's like, wow, my music's on the radio, and two, like the other side is like radio pays a lot more than Spotify does for a listen. So, I mean, there's upwards of like you're getting a whole dollar for a radio play
Mm.
versus like 0.003 cents.
Right.
You're just like, geez. But
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know a world that's not like a digital world and
yeah.
streaming. Like you don't. Um, yeah, I'm of the age where like I'd go to the record store every Tuesday. Like
Mm,
I was buying CDs that I didn't even like plan on buying. I would just walk into the record store and if I wasn't there for something specific, I was just grabbing something that because the art was cool, or I'd go to the used section and just kind of like take a risk, and just spend $3 or $4, and you know if it was terrible, oh well. But
yeah.
you found some good stuff too. Yeah, I
I
just
was at a record store today actually. It's called Jupiter Records in Delaware. Super old school record store. Everything has been used and like worn. It was out of a movie. And there was a dollar section with cassette tapes. I said, I'm gonna take a look. Nobody really goes into the store. They probably have some like gold.
mhm.
And I found an old Outlaws cassette tape, Willie Nelson and Johnny Paycheck. I was like, oh, wow. It was a dollar. I'm never gonna play it. But I was like, this is this is history in my
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
And then I found another one that was like an RCA copy of like RCA released of an Elvis like hits album. I was like, this is literally like so many years have passed and somebody held this in their hands and got this for the first time at a record store, and now I'm picking it up at a random record store 40 years later,
Yeah.
you know, and oh my gosh, it was you like feel it in your in your bones. You're like, wow.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't really think about that, like how it's, that cassette has been handed, from, one person to the next, and how many people actually had that in their possession. Was it one? Was it two? Was it five? What number are you?
Yeah, right. 500 maybe, you know.
Maybe. Yeah. Who did you grow up listening to? Like who inspires you?
Yeah, so I'd say I grew up listening to that country radio that it seems like everybody in that Pennsylvania area listened to. Um, you have your Luke Bryans and Blake Sheltons and Toby Keith and Eric Church, just to name a few that, were constantly playing on the radio. And then I was listening to, but I didn't really listen to music like that. I didn't like find a love for music like that until recently. I'd say when I started making music is when I found the appreciation for music that I did not have. And, some newer artists right now, Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, Charles Wesley Godwin, Ty Myers, and I mean, I can name a million artists that are on my playlist. And everyone is as good as the one before. But yeah, I'd say if I had to choose an artist that I'd say there's like not really inspiration from, but there's just like this draw towards is Elvis. And it's kind of a cop out answer. Everybody chooses like Elvis or Johnny Cash, but there's something about Elvis. I mean, no matter what you think about him as like a terrible guy or anything, but he had it down. He created this wave in the music industry and flipped it on its head.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
It sucks about his manager like taking over and everything like with that story, but he did a lot. It's definitely inspiring.
Yeah. Now, for anyone listening or watching that's in the area that I live in, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area, you're going to be coming to town uh, in a couple months. The third one, the third Riverwave Country Music Festival.
Oh yeah.
I'll give Gina her flowers. She is the founder and organizer and jack of all trades for the day, and
Mm.
she's on quads and pointing the finger and running the show.
Yeah.
Um, that's on May 9th, I believe that is. It's at
Okay.
the Moonlight Drive-In,
Oh yeah.
right? Moonlight,
Yeah. West Wyoming, PA.
Wyoming, PA. She was on the podcast a few weeks ago, so if you're interested in seeing her, you can go check that out. You can hear all
Yeah.
about how that kind of started. But talk about that festival. Is this your first one? Is this your
My
first?
first one ever. I'm stoked to be on the lineup. Gino is so gracious in adding us onto the main stage this year with my band, and we're stoked going with my guys. I mean, this is our first festival that we're ever playing, and we couldn't be more excited, nervous, but stoked for the opportunity. Gina's amazing. She does so much for so many people, and we're glad to be in contact with her for sure.
And you met her at a pre-show? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I had met her at a Zach Bryan tailgate pre-show in Philadelphia, and then we started talking, and I played her Riverwave preview, um, like preview of the festival in the winter months at the River Grill in
Oh,
Wilkes-Barre,
okay. Yeah.
and it was awesome. Met a lot of great guys, a lot of great people, a lot of great singers, cool connections, and me and Gina never stopped talking. And she texted me, and we just threw it on on the paper and pen and got it down and put my name on the flyer.
Yeah, I have to get. She's been having a few of those, and I've just failed to get to one of them. The Heartstrings is a band that festival turned me on to. Um, and Jacob's been in town a couple times since then, and I'm like, why am I? Well, I know why. I'm old, two kids, married,
Mm,
and I get home at the end of the day, and it's like the last thing I want to do is go out. Like I went to work all day, and then we did baseball practice after that. And it's like, oh, and we came home and we did homework, and
mm.
it's like, oh, it's just constantly go go go, and there's nights I do this at night too. So it's like it's hard to find the time, but I need to start making the time because I'm missing a lot of good stuff out there.
Speaking of being wiped and tired and the Heartstrings, the night before Riverwave Country Music Festival, I'm opening for the Heartstrings in Williamsport, PA, about 4 hours from me, about 2 hours from Riverwave. And my set time is 9 p.m. that night. So it's going to be a late night and bright and early morning for the
Yeah,
festival, but it's okay. Jacob has to do it too.
yeah,
So can't be that bad. Somebody else has to do it with me.
yeah. He's been on the show before too. Had a lot of fun with him. He's shared some wild stories.
He's he's nuts. He's awesome. Love
I
that
wish I wish I was young again.
guy.
I wish I was young. Oh,
He's not even that young. Well, I guess he is. He's
compared to me.
older. Yeah, he's older than me.
Yeah,
I'm also like 12, so
yeah. Dude, I'm over twice your age.
yeah, I am young. So,
Which is cool. I mean, you have so much already built.
mm,
And again, I said before, it's like it's crazy to think that all this has happened in the span of like 5, 6 years. And I mean, the quality of the music is just amazing.
mm,
So it's like I can't wait to see you the next 5 years
mm.
and like 10 years from now. It's like there's only up from here. It's kind of crazy.
It is crazy, and people hate when I say that word because I say it a lot. But it is crazy. What I do is crazy. How I feel 90% of the time is crazy, and you can use that word to describe a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. It's all crazy, but crazy's good. Crazy's good.
Yeah. Uh, what could someone expect from a live show from you and your band?
Well, a lot of energy, some jokes that aren't planned ever, but I usually end up saying something stupid and then making fun of the stupid comment I make. I feel like it happens every show. Um, I'll like my guitar will be out of tune. It's like, all right, just like give me a second. I gotta tune this guitar. Like I'm an idiot. And someone's like, no, you're not. And I was like, no, like it's okay. And it would just like it's just funny. Or I'll make fun of like my guitarist on stage or like vice versa. I'll be like, that's why you didn't put water in your hair so it's not sticking all over the place. And then he's like flapping around with his hair. And I'm like, there's just always something. But you're gonna get a production in the sense that it's gonna be a good show. But the same that way that we write our songs, the same that we perform, raw and honest. We're not going into it saying like, okay, this 3 minutes and 20 seconds is the cutoff for the first song, and then we have 10 seconds in between. We're gonna get up there. This is what we're playing that night, and we're just gonna have a great time and cater to the people that are in the room.
I have to find a way to make it to that festival. I think if I don't make it, Gina will kill me.
I think so.
But there's too many musicians on there that I can't miss, and I'm sure I know there's some that I've never had the pleasure of seeing perform. You know, um, and that's what I love. It's one thing I'm like I've never been able to perform music. I couldn't write it. I couldn't do anything with it. That's why I do this. I've kind of forced my my way into it somehow to because I want to share all this amazing music with as many people as I can because it's like it deserves to be heard. So it's like my little part in
I
the
definitely
process.
appreciate it for sure. I mean, goes the thing I was saying before. Like, even if you don't know, there's somebody fighting for you. Like, I could have like no idea who you are. I could be a total like bot and not know how to work social media. And you could be like, this is this guy, here's a song, and I could be like, 4 hours away, and I'm like, man, nobody's listening to my music. And then there's like somebody like you that's like sharing the song. It's similar with the radio station. I'm not reaching out to these stations like, hey, play my music. They
Right.
find it, and it's amazing. Um, Definitely a little glimpse,
Glimmer.
glimmer of hope
Yeah.
when needed.
Yeah, for
Glimpse.
sure.
It's not even a word.
You put that on, use it on stage.
Yeah, it's gonna be on my next merch. Glimpse. Chris Greiner.
Make it a purple shirt, so it's like a play off Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. I would not sell a single one.
Do you have merch?
I do.
Yeah.
I have a shop online right now, as well as some exclusive stuff at shows. What I like to do is every artist right now has a black t-shirt with their name on it. No, I don't like that. It's boring. It's basic. Everybody's got a black band t-shirt. So what I do is there's this company that you can order. You're like, this is my logo. I want it big, bold in the center, and give me a bunch of colors. So every t-shirt color that I get in is different from the next. There's no two same color. And that's my show. That's my merch pull at my shows. You look at my table, big banner, Chris Greiner. You look at the table, it's just like a rainbow vomit. A bunch of colors with a bunch of colored shirts with my name on it. As well as I usually carry some stickers as well as some sign posters. But on my shop, you have more organized, some really nice embroidered hoodies and hats. My shirts come from Comfort Colors,
Ooh.
super good brand. They're awesome. As well as, it's crazy you're bringing up merch. This morning, I was working on some new designs for some things in the future.
You do that yourself?
I do. I do all of the designing and merch store creating and website creating and everything you see as my brand, Instagram, Facebook, is me.
Nice. One day you're gonna need someone for that.
I feel like I need someone for it right now. There's a lot. These flyers, I've gotten to the point where I said, I'm not making a flyer for every show now. I'm gonna do like 3 months. Here's all my dates. That's all you're getting. One flyer. But I can't do that because things change, things
Yeah.
cancel, things get added. But
And what's the website address for that?
yeah, so you can find me at www.justchrismusic.com/merch, but it might be best just go to the website, check a little bit out where I am, click the 3 buttons in the top, bring you to merch, dates, and everything in between.
Nice. Nice. I want to try and get to that May show.
It's gonna be a good time. Oh,
I
I
know.
can't wait. We're already talking about our intro song that we're gonna do, and I think we have sort of our set lists kind of already picked out. But I don't know because I might be dropping an EP around that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy that I'm talking about that EP because I have dropping an EP before that as well. We have a lot of music coming out.
Oh, good to know.
I actually just finished recording my next EP, and I'm not going to say what it is, but for all of you that are listening right now, this EP is coming out April 17th.
Okay.
It's coming up soon, about 4 weeks, so you'll see some content. 5 songs, brand new, never heard. It really encapsulates this revival rock genre that we've built. There's songs about family struggles, there's love songs, there's triumphant anthems, as well as a worship country song on there. Very, very similar to All Will Be Well.
Okay.
It's called Where You Are. It's about, it's like you take All Will Be Well and you put that like idea in another point of my life where I'm still struggling with the same things, and I'm gonna write another song about it. It's kind of like a cry out to God that every Christian faces is like, I just want to be where you are, Lord. Meet me where I am so I can be where you are. And I can't wait for this EP. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. If it's
Couple weeks. Mm.
if it's anything like this recent one or better, I mean, geez.
Oh, it's I have raw demos right now in my email, and the demos that aren't even mixed, I feel are better than my last EP.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I'm excited too. Well, I have some like rapid fire fun questions
Yeah, yeah.
for you
Let's do it. I'm ready.
before we wrap things up here. Sorry, I have like tons of sheets here.
No, you're all good.
Like I try to act like I'm prepared, you know? Try to fake it till you make it, you know?
Why not? That's why my screen's black. Blurred out.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where I am right now.
What is a song that changed your life?
Oh my gosh. Rapid Fire, a song that changed my life. Dancing in the Sky by Sam Barber.
Okay. Not familiar, but I'll check it out.
I check it out. I'm gonna leave it at that. I just posted a small cover of it
Okay.
on all of my socials. You'll understand why.
All right.
Song that changed my life.
One artist you'd love to write with.
Mm. Willie Nelson.
Good
Amazing.
choice. Good choice. Now, this might be a tough question because you're so early on into it, but I'm sure you've been given some sort of advice. The best advice you've received so far in the industry.
Mm. Yeah. Don't be cocky. Word for word, do not be cocky. But if your chest is down and your head is down, you're doing just as much damage to yourself and your career as if you were being cocky.
I like that. I like that. That
That's my
makes
favorite.
total sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What's your favorite go-to late night food on the road?
Oh, Wawa.
Oh, you're gonna get
I
some
get
hate.
a, but oh my gosh, I get a chicken tender classic, barbecue sauce, cheddar cheese. That's what I get. I usually get a peach iced tea as well.
Okay.
That's the order. It's the Wawa order.
I was just in Philly this past weekend, and I went to my buddies and I get together like twice a year, but always the weekend of Patrick's Day. We've been doing it since 2007, so we're approaching 20 years now.
There's two.
And we were up. I was up till 3:30 a.m. Friday into Saturday, and then 2 a.m. Saturday into Sunday, which is beyond late for a man my age. But it's one of those moments. It's the time you cherish with some of your best friends that you don't get to see that often because just life is busy. We went to a place called Wishbone Chicken in Philly.
Hmm. I've never
Amazing,
heard it.
amazing.
Mm.
And dude, it was like 2:30, and it was packed. Place
Mm.
was packed.
I
Like the
love it.
bars just let out, and like it was wild, but so good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we actually went there Friday night. Well, actually, it was Friday morning. Well, it was Saturday morning, and then again Saturday night into Sunday morning. It
Wow.
was that good.
Good chicken.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm.
What's one song that you wish you wrote?
Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan.
Great song.
It's such a good song. That's why it's like, oh, that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, that's a great song. So if someone, is watching or listening to this is the first time they're exposed to Chris Greiner, what song should they like go and listen to first?
Mm. Northeast Native, and then all will be well. But I think Northeast Native is relatable in the sense of you can be an atheist, you can be a Christian, you can be whatever belief that you want, and you have some sort of relation to the song, in one way or another. And music should be relatable.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think so, what you do is, I think that's what's great about music in general is just, yeah, being relatable and kind of connecting with that audience. And um, music's so powerful, right? Like you hear so many people say that this band or this song like literally saved my life. Like
Mm.
that's what a impactful thing. And it's just music is such an incredible thing. I don't know where I'd be without it,
Yeah,
you know?
I can definitely say the same thing. And I tell my students, I tell everybody that I meet, I say things are stressful sometimes, but I wouldn't trade what I do for the world. I mean, genuinely, if my biggest struggle right now in my job career is what venue I'm playing on what day, what song I'm releasing at what time, I'd say I consider myself blessed that I'm not homeless, that I have a family that cares about me, that I have friends, and I'm a team that support me. You know, I I wouldn't trade it for anything.
If you weren't doing music, what would you be doing?
In high school, I did a little bit of firefighting and medical, but I don't think I would do that. And I know my girlfriend already told me no, but I'd probably be a state game warden. Be kind of sick. She's like, no,
Why did she tell you no?
because her like friend's boyfriend is also going to school to be a state game warden. She's like, we can't have any more redneck cops. And she's gonna listen to this. She's like, you're talking smack about me. She's like downstairs right now. I hope she can hear this. But yeah, state game warden. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, okay.
I just drive around and be in the woods and
Yeah.
do my job sometimes. But like, well, I love fishing and stuff. So why not fish and get paid for it?
Yeah.
Not really, but close.
I hear it. That's awesome. Well, man, I am excited for your future. I really am. I'll be on the sidelines cheering you on. And yeah, looking forward to this new EP coming out April 17th, you said.
17.
And then I'm hoping to get there on May 9th to the River Wave Country Music Festival. But dude, I mean, I'm still kind of in shock that, you're 20 years old and, you're doing what you're doing already. So keep on pushing, keep on just being true to yourself. And I mean, you don't need me to be telling you that, but like, it's obviously working for you. So keep on.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you for your time and the questions and the conversation. I mean, artists, especially in this area, wouldn't be able to do it without people that support us like you do. So definitely
I would
appreciate
say it's truly an honor for me to be a part of it and in any aspect. But yeah, it's I hope more and more people find your music. I hope that you I'll see you open up on even bigger stages
yeah.
down the road.
Would be a dream.
Yeah.
But I'm living the dream now. So
Hell yeah.
until then.
Until then, man. Well, thank you again, Chris Greiner. You said the website is
JustChrisMusic.com.
Just Chris Music. Okay.
All one word.
Check out the merch. Check out all he's got going on, and follow him on socials. And yeah, man. Hopefully, I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, for sure. Would love to.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you.
See ya.